The Wolf Among Us is a game that went through a crazy amount of rewrites, changes, and cuts that arguably were for the better of the game. But my issue with it is that despite calling itself a mystery game, it does very little to answer questions that the player might still have. We don't really get an aftermath to any of the events in the story. Stuff just kinda happens and Bigby walks away from it. Bigby's fight with the woodsman is a good example. He ends up trashing his apartment, then lands on Toad's car. Toad, as far as the plot is concerned, was never compensated for the damage and struggles with finances, making him unable to afford a glamour, and ending up with him being sent off to the farm. Bigby stabs Georgie, then chases him down New York City, before arriving at Georgie's club that has a river of blood leading from the car to the inside of the building, in plain view of anybody who might drive by. Better hope Flycatcher cleaned that up quick, before any police arrived. And listen, I get it. It's a story about fairy tales living in the real world. You have to suspend your disbelief to take the premise seriously. But if we're expected to take it for real, then it should at least follow its own logic.
Did it, Patrick! We saved the city! Just think what might have happened if we didn't tell everyone about the monster!
About the what?
Well, as it turns out, my biggest criticism of the game was actually answered by the developers themselves, in cut content. As I've shown in my previous videos, there was a much bigger focus originally on covering your tracks and making sure that you're not allowing the Woodlands community to be discovered. This is a plot element that is completely absent from the final game. The police were originally meant to be on Bigby's tail, not his literal tail, you know what I mean. One of the biggest characters of the story was that of a woman named Kelsey Brannigan, a detective of the NYPD. Bizarrely, before Episode 2, Smoke and Mirrors came out, Episode 3, A Crooked Mile, featured a completely different slide image and intention. It shows Brannigan in what looks like gym clothes, following Bigby into the Woodland luxury apartments. After Episode 2's release 5 months later, people noticed that the image had been changed, and she wasn't part of the story of Episode 3 either. This obviously did not go unnoticed, but Telltale never explained why this change was made, or why she was on the menu in the first place. Fans have speculated as to why this change was made for a long time, and it's probably the most well-known change that Telltale has ever made. What really didn't help was Telltale's complete silence on the matter. Even to this day, it still has never been addressed by people who worked on the game. Why did they replace the menu slide, and why did it take 5 months for Episode 2 to release? Kelsey Brannigan does appear in the final game briefly, where she interrogates Bigby about Snow White's murder. It's more like a therapy session than a police interview. Police interrogations are all about ramping up the pressure and controlling the conversation, of which neither of these two things happen. There's a picture of Snow's decapitated head just lying on the table for no reason. What, did Bigby forget why he was there? Like, just imagine a loved one of yours dies in a horrific event, and there's a picture of it just lying on the desk when you're already distressed. It'd be different if this was some kind of shock tactic to elicit a confession. But as I said, it's like Bigby's talking to his therapist or something. Crane intervenes using a magical retcon spell, a memory wipe spell that will wipe the last 24 hours of everyone's memory in the station. Bigby and Crane leave the scene, and it's never mentioned or brought up ever again. As you've guessed by the title and the description and the fact that you're watching an InColdBlood video, then you probably won't be surprised to learn that there is cut content related to this scene and character. It helps explain the massive plot hole of how Bigby is somehow not in police custody 2 days later, when the police go back and look at the interrogation tape and realise the last person they interviewed is not in his cell. Like the Anderson Street hub from episode 1 where we cleaned up the scene of the crime, the exact same thing was supposed to happen in this police station. But that's enough backstory. Let's get to the part you're interested in, which is the cut sequences re-added.
You got a name?
Detective Brannigan. Or just plain detective, if you like.
Thanks for the cigarettes. I guess this makes you the good cop.
We'll see. You know they sell those in crush-proof boxes now. Active guy like you might want to look into that.
What am I doing here?
You did punch out a cop last night.
Right. Things are a little foggy after...
I'm sure you'll be happy to know that Officer Wachowski is fine, and he's agreed not to take any legal action. I know you were upset last night, but in the future, please try to control yourself around my crime scenes. That'll give me a better chance to catch this young woman's killer.
What are you doing to find the killer? Got any leads?
I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing.
Are you gonna charge me with anything?
That depends.
Am I free to go? There are things I need to do.
I'm gonna ask you some questions. Cooperate with me, answer them honestly, you can go home. Maybe get some sleep. Let's start with the victim. How did you know her? Were you two close?
She was a friend.
Just a friend.
That's what I said.
And you also worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments, is that right?
Yeah.
I know this must be hard for you, but I appreciate your cooperation. Just a few more questions.
I guess.
Please don't guess, Mr. Wolf. Just tell the truth. You and Miss White worked together.
No, we didn't.
You aren't the first person I've talked to, Mr. Wolf. Don't lie to me. I know you worked at the Woodland with Miss White. Okay.
We worked together.
At the Woodland Luxury Apartments, is that correct?
No, we don't work there.
You aren't the first person I've talked to, Mr. Wolf. Don't lie to me. I know you worked at the Woodland with Miss White.
That's right.
I know this must be hard for you, but I appreciate your cooperation. Just a few more questions.
How'd you know that?
You aren't the first person I've talked to. Okay.
I didn't know her.
So you're telling me that this woman means nothing to you?
Put that fucking thing away.
You must understand. I will do whatever it takes to get the truth from you, Mr. Wolf. Don't lie to me. You and Miss White worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments.
I told you, I didn't know her.
Your reaction says otherwise.
It's a dead woman. Do I have to know her to react that way?
Don't lie to me. You and Miss White worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments.
You enjoying yourself?
You knew Miss White. I will do whatever it takes to get the truth from you, Mr. Wolf. Don't lie to me. You and Miss White worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments. It's clear you knew her. Don't lie to me. You and Miss White worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments. You aren't the first person I've talked to, Mr. Wolf. It would be in your best interest to cooperate. You and Miss White worked together at the Woodland Luxury Apartments. Is that where you last saw her?
Yeah. I saw her at work that day.
Do you know where she went after that?
No. We shared a taxi. I got out and she drove off. That's the last I saw of her.
Do you know where she was going?
I can't remember.
Please try, Mr. Wolf. Do you have any idea where she might have gone that night? Do you have any idea where she might have gone that night? Please try to cooperate, Mr. Wolf. Do you have any idea where she might have gone that night? No boyfriend or anything? Someone she might have gone to see? I guess you didn't know her that well then. Did you know you were both born at the same hospital? The Knights of Malta here in the city. There's actually something a little weird about your records. I found 3 different birth certificates for Bigby Wolf, all spaced about 50 years apart. What do you make of that?
Just a funny coincidence, I guess.
Well, then this must also be a coincidence.
It's probably my father and grandfather. My, family isn't too inventive when it comes to names.
So your father's name is Bigby Wolf. That's strange because your birth certificate lists Mr. Nathaniel Wolf as your father. And so does this one and this one. In fact, all 3 are almost identical down to the day of birth. The only difference is the year.
What does this have to do with Miss White's murder?
I'll get to that, Mr. Wolf. You should try to be more helpful. Silence definitely won't save you. Damn it, Bigby. I'll tell you what I know. All 3 of these birth certificates list the same parents, are signed by the same doctor, and have the exact same birthday. The only difference is the year.
Someone must have screwed up. The records are wrong. I told you. It's a coincidence. I don't know what else to say. I told you, it's a family name. If the records are messed up, that's not on me. What the fuck does this have to do with Miss White? I don't know what to tell you. Back off.
Not a chance, Mr. Wolf. Something's up. You and Miss White both have strange records, forged documents. These IDs have been around for over 100 years. You're hiding something. What is it?
You caught me. We're immortal. Like vampires. Or elves.
Very funny.
I'd drop it if I were you.
Is that a threat?
We're, in the witness protection program. I can't talk about it.
Bullshit. Enough messing around! Start talking. I am 5 seconds away from calling in the FBI. So unless you can explain to me what you're up to right now, you're gonna have much bigger problems. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
This is ridiculous. You got some conspiracy theory, so you're gonna call in the FBI?
The evidence points to something much bigger than we're prepared to handle. I may not know what that is, but I assure you the feds will find out.
I can't let you do that.
It's not up to you.
Don't you dare!
Really? Time's up, Mr. Wolf.
Stop. Please. Wait a minute. You're making a big mistake.
What is that?
What?
What? Do I have to repeat myself? I said, you have 3 birth certificates. How do you explain this?
You already asked that.
Oh,
Yeah, with messed up years. We went over this already. What's going on?
this is an interrogation, Mr. Wolf. Did you No. Mr. Wolf, don't lie.
Are you okay?
Shut up! What is this? Mr. Wolf?
You okay? Detective!
Answer. Oh, don't lie to me.
Shit.
Who are you? Back off!
Whoa! Calm down.
I said put your hands up!
You didn't...
I said don't fucking move!
Oh, shit! Ah, fuck.
What do you want? What's happening? What the fuck is happening?! Put your hands on your head.
Ah, Detective Brannigan. Sorry I'm late. Please have a seat. It'll be over soon.
No! God damn it! Ah, shit!
What the fuck is going on? What's wrong with her?
Nothing.
What the hell did you do to her?
She'll be fine. It's just a memory wipe spell. Very expensive, but it works.
What?
What are you so upset about? You should be thanking me.
You can't just do that to people.
They'll be fine. The side effects are only temporary. They'll all come around in a few minutes, back to normal like nothing ever happened.
What about the detective?
Temporary side effects. They'll all come around in a few minutes, back to normal like nothing ever happened. Well, lucky I was able to get one. Do you know how much magic like that costs? I had to go to Bluebeard for an advance on his donation.
Fine, let's get out of here.
Not yet.
No.
All right, where is it?
Hey,
We don't have a lot of time before they come around, but I've been trying to find this case file they've got. The spell won't do much good if they still have all that information on us. I saw a filing cabinet in the hallway. I'll check there. Take a look around and see if you can find that file. And grab anything else that might implicate us. Just be quick about it.
something back there. Something back there. One-way mirror. There's gotta be a room back there.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Don't worry about that. I told you we don't have a lot of time. See if you can find that case file. What is it, Bigby? Still no damn file.
You find that file yet?
Does it look like I found it? No, I haven't found it. What do you think? Keep looking. We're running out of time.
Never mind.
Well, then stop standing around and go look for that file.
Nothing.
It's not here. Will you stop standing around? Go make sure we don't leave anything behind.
She's gonna wake up soon. She's gonna wake up soon.
The effects are wearing off. They'll be coming around soon. We might have company in a minute here. Hurry up! Someone's been trying to contact the station. We might have company in a minute here.
That's it.
We have to go, now. Did you find that file? Good. Did you find that file? Damn it! We have to go. Now, Bigby, keep your head down. We have to go. Now, Bigby, keep your head down. Hell. Keep your head down.
And that's that for the police station scene. As you can see, it makes a lot more sense than in the final game. Brannigan feels like an actual detective here, information gathering and trying to catch Bigby out on his lies. The text from this scene also includes lines not present in any of these chores. But that was not the end of Brannigan's story. As we know, she was shown very explicitly in a different outfit on the menu's third slide. So clearly there was meant to be some follow-up to this, right? The D-log file for this scene has developer text, which straight up says that an item in the room is to be unused, as it will be mentioned by Kelsey in another episode. So what's the big deal here? What happened? Well, according to the now defunct German gaming website X to Win, apparently 2 independent sources claim that creative differences led to multiple delays. According to these sources, an entire storyline involving the police investigating lead character Bigby and the Fables in general was cut shortly before the release of episode 1, which led to a rewrite of the entire season, and episode 2 in particular. Telltale originally intended to have multiple run-ins with the police in episode 1, and have Bigby become a suspect in the murder of Snow White in episode 2. Bigby's true identity would have been questioned from the second episode onwards too. One of episode 2's cut sequences would have had Bigby disguised as female police officer Kelsey Brannigan, and enter the police station's morgue to retrieve Snow White's body. This sequence, along with the entire story arc, was removed prior to release. You're probably wondering if there's anything left from that version of the story, and unfortunately I have to confirm that there is not. And in case you are wondering, the police station we see in the interrogation scene doesn't have a morgue. However, what we do have is unused text, taking place in the witching well, which was such a different scene, I honestly can't be bothered to explain all the changes. Bluebeard is present, as well as Mr. Toad and Toad Jr. The glamour breaks, turning the headless body of Snow White into her true form as the troll sister of Holly. It seems like in this version, Crane did not bring Lily's head with him. In the interrogation scene I showed earlier, that's what the floating box was. Snow panics, realising that the troll head is still inside the police station and could be discovered by Mondays. The group decide how they're going to go about solving this issue, with Bigby offering to glamour himself as Brannigan. Just as the group are discussing where they could get a quick glamour from, Toad chimes in on where they can find one. He suggests the person that got him his glamour, that person being Jack Horner. We would then head to the Trip Trap to meet him. And unfortunately, the Trip Trap scene doesn't contain any unused text about a glamour. There is one other thing that may have survived from this cutscene, however, but I really can't say for sure. In the animation reel I showed in my Clorinda video, You might recall this very quick scene where we see Bigby in his office wearing an earring. I checked every female character in the game files, and I couldn't find a match for this earring. Brannigan does have earrings, but they're not as decorative as the one in this image. It also goes without saying that Bigby isn't the kind of guy who would wear earrings. So I can only make the assumption that this is related to a glamour of Kelsey. If you remember, Lily's glamour of Snow was not perfect either. She had an extra button on her shirt where Snow didn't. Maybe it could be the same case here. So what about those creative differences? Well, like I said, it's never been explained, but there's a prevailing theory that I tend to agree with. The rumour is that Bill Willingham, creator of the Fables comics, was not happy with Bigby glamouring himself as Brannigan, but because they'd already began working on that part of the story, it had to be rewritten before the game's release. Apparently Bigby actually can't glamour as other characters as part of the Fables canon, but I'm not too sure on that. Either way, that's what most people, including me, seem to believe. And for the record, someone recently asked Bill Willingham about this, and he claimed he couldn't talk about it. It seems it may have been briefly referenced by ex-Telltale employees on Twitter around the time of Telltale's collapse. Jason Latino, director for Episode 2, had a small thread about it on Twitter, with Dave Grossman chiming in, how he wondered how players would have responded to that sequence. It's not clear what sequence he's referring to, but it could very well be the glamoured Bigby scene. So, what else is there to talk about? Well, Kelsey is also mentioned in an early text file of Bigby's investigation into the pudding and pie. It's clearly some earlier work, as it's a bit all over the place. For one, Lily in this version is called Charlotte, and apparently she was killed within Georgie's club in a back room. Bigby is of course investigating what happened to her and Faith when he discovers the troll blood covered room. Just as this room is revealed, the detective walks in, about to ask questions before she recognises Bigby. The lines are a bit weird, but from the context, it seems like Bigby is trying to keep her away from the room. The black crap she's talking about, that Bigby was covered in, is probably Lily or Charlotte's troll blood. Originally, Bigby was to fight Holly in Central Park, so that's probably what she's referring to. It's not really clear if she would have seen the crime scene, but it's implied she left if we go by Georgie's dialogue. This scene is a little bit weird though. Brannigan recognises Bigby even though there was a memory wipe spell. Let's also not forget the fact that Bigby was arrested and never formally let go. I'm guessing this is from a version where the interrogation scene didn't exist. So I guess that takes us back to where it all started, a Crooked Miles original slide. There's a few questions to ask ourselves here. Why is she wearing these clothes? Was it a chance encounter? Was she undercover? It seems likely given the gun and the badge. Wouldn't really go jogging carrying a gun now, would you? What was she going to do when she entered the woodlands? And what made her suspect Bigby is up to something in the first place? She seems determined. It's not like she's going to buy whatever bad excuse she's given and walk away if she's this convinced something is up. I'm also really curious about how her storyline would have resolved itself. But sadly, we can only speculate. The last thing to talk about would be what Telltale developers have actually said about her. There were 2 charity streams for GRDF a while ago, where Telltale developers came on to talk about their work on the game. The voice and sound talent claimed that Cissy Jones, Brannigan's voice actor, only did 1 session for the character, and also kept asking when she would return. The other stream revealed that it was actually the ad hoc team who created the character of Kelsey, and that the interrogation scene was the last thing they ever worked on. before moving on to other projects. Seeing as the ad hoc team are working on Wolf 2 alone, this time they'll be able to tell the story they want, without any interference from third parties. It's exciting to think about, and I'm really looking forward to playing it as soon as it comes out. Maybe I'll even stream it on this channel, if people care. And maybe it's just me, but the response they gave in this stream tells me that perhaps this isn't the last we've seen of Kelsey Brannigan.
Can you tell us about any of the cut content from season 1? I don't want to spoil the game, but the Detective Brannigan character from episode 2 seemed like she was going to have a very big role in the season. Why was she and her plotline cut?
Good memory, keen eye. Yeah, we're probably not the people to actually answer that. Initially, Brannigan was going to be a much bigger part of the series, and we were only on setting up the series, and we were only working on the pilot and kind of fleshing out where the story was going. But after the pilot came out, we were sort of needed elsewhere, so we weren't allowed to kind of stay with the series and see it to completion, which was a huge bummer, definitely for us. But I think just in development, they sort of took a different path. But yeah, the last thing that I shot and sort of directed, quote unquote, and the last thing Pierre wrote was the first scene of episode 2, which is with Brannigan and Bigby. So it's like kind of the last thing we sort of were able to work on, and then we never heard from her again. So yeah.
And so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to say thank you very much for all your support these past 3 years. I hope that I've been able to inform, entertain, at the very least make your day a bit brighter. Looking back on this channel, I feel like I've accomplished a lot. Thank you for 9,000 subscribers. Thank you for all your comments, views, likes, stuff I've never asked for, but you've all given me. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This is InColdBlood, signing off. Wherever you are, I wish you all the best. Peace.